Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so I'll call our meeting to order. And Mrs. Tomey, if you'd call the roll, please.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Here.
Ms. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Here.
Mrs. Sweet? Here. Mr. Babcock?
Here.
All members of council are present, so please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021, and this is a regular session of the Enon Village Council. And do we have, I guess our first item is any additions to our agenda this evening?
I have a committee report, sir.
Mrs. Sweet, under committee reports. And I'll give a quick update under old business for applications for the vacant BZA spots that we have. Are there any others? Okay, seeing none, let's go into approval of our minutes. And the first set would be from the organizational meeting, which was held Tuesday, January 5th at 7 p.m. And if council is satisfied with those minutes, then I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
One clerical change, please. On the appointment of president of council, I abstained off of that, did not vote yes.
You abstain?
Okay.
Any other changes?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go into the same day, January 5th, regular session minutes. And again, if council is satisfied with those, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
And call a roll, please.
Babcock?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Fogel?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
So we have some financial information for this meeting, and really we're in pretty good shape. Our balances are good. I know we had in the water fund, when you look at that cash summary by fund, when you look at that sheet, the water department, we had $180,000 in expenses as of the 21st, bringing our balance down to 93. And Kevin, I believe that we had, it was around 95 to 100,000 for the tower project, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that came out of there. So roughly, let's see, we figured that's what, a $320,000 project. Let's say 100,000. So we have about 220,000 left to pay out of that on that particular project. And revenue-wise, of course, the general fund, that doesn't really start ramping up until we receive that first half of real estate taxes. That should occur probably the first or second week in March. So that's when we should receive that first half. Street fund will, of course, receive monies into the street department on a monthly basis. And then the same holds true for the police levy. The majority of those funds are received through the tax collection. And again, on our water fund, which is on the last page, we will have those revenues collected on a monthly basis as well. On the appropriation status report, really the biggest, I kind of breezed through here a few minutes ago. Again, the biggest expenditure was out of that capital outlay for the water which the majority of that would have gone towards the first payment of the Cardinal Drive tank. So at our first meeting in February, we'll have totals and reconciliation for the month of January, but this gives us a pretty good idea how we're starting out, and we're in good shape. So,
I just have a clarification question, Tim, and
Sure.
maybe I'm just not understanding, but on our appropriation side, that's the maximum budget that we're allowed to, or that's the maximum amount of money we're allowed to spend,
correct.
correct? And our budget is less than that. Is that correct?
Typically, the budget that is approved by the county through that estimated resources, you have a little cushion. It's actually a
Right.
little bit higher than that.
And that's true for all the funds except for police fund. And I was wondering why our revenue projections for, for the police fund, we have, well, the appropriation is 283, but our revenue is 368. All the other ones are just a little bit of cushion difference. But on the police levy, it's more. And I was surprised to see that, only because I thought that the numbers were supposed to be a little bit less for that cushion and not over. So I was trying to understand why that might be. Because our revenue, if you look at our revenue police fund, it shows 368, 493 on page 3 of 4.
Correct.
And yet our appropriations are only 283. I mean, in the general fund, we were, less by 60,000. On the water fund, we're, a little bit less by 170,000, but that one was different. I was just wondering why.
Okay, so let's look here real quick. So your question is, when you look at the appropriation status, the total for the police levy, and that would be on page 3, we have a total appropriation.
Well, on the appropriation, yeah, if you look at the police fund on the appropriation status, sir, that's on page 2, the top half. Our appropriations that are approved for the village are 339. But, I'm sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're losing me there.
It's my fault.
Appropriations on page
Top
3.
of page 3.
If you look on
Yeah,
3,
on page 3, you're right,
368.4.
page 3.
so you
Our
got,
appropriations are 283,500,
and our revenues are 3.
68,493.
Right.
So, since, if the appropriation's supposed to be the max and our budget is underneath that as a cushion as it is in all the other funds except police, why is police over? Do you remember?
Well, we are estimating out of that 368,000 that we'll only spend the 283.
Well, but the budget's higher than the appropriation. I thought the appropriation was our max.
As far as spending, if we had to go in, let's say something happened, Dave, and we had to go in, we could increase it up to what our estimated amount would be as far as revenue, which would be the 368. So we have anticipated that we're going to bring in 368, but only spend 283.
Well,
So it gives us flexibility. If we had to, we could increase that appropriation. But we think we're only going to need to spend 283 in that police levy. And unfortunately, it's never set in stone. As you know, it's kind of one of those moving targets.
no, I get it. And then on the revenue, well, on the revenue side, we didn't have anything for mayor's court or other police, no other special police in parentheses. We have appropriation for it, but we don't have anything on the revenue side. But I know we're gonna have revenue in mayor's court.
Yeah, and that other for the special police is, I think, and you can help me out here, Mike, a lot of it, I would say the most of it, Dave, is donation driven. It's like what we would get in donations. or
Because
whatever.
we have a appropriation for it for 7,100, but we have no budget, and then, but the same thing for mayor's court. I know we have money, I know we're gonna put money from revenue. We look at the reports every month, or at the last meeting of every month. And, I was just wondering why it wasn't there, so. The commies are not gonna take over the free world as we know it today. But I was just trying to understand, balancing why we have some things and not have others.
Yeah,
So-
good question. And on that, like the special revenue, we have $8,979 actually
Already sitting there.
in
We've already-
there.
right, we've
That's
already
already,
received.
that's already there.
So basically, we just anticipate, we can't really anticipate donations, things like that, I think, for the special police. We already have $9,000 sitting there. We don't want to anticipate receiving, we'd have to come up with the number out of our head, basically. But of that, so the appropriation, what was it, 7,100?
Yeah, but then
That,
for
that's
mayor's
special
court-
revenues for training. I believe that's where a lot of our training money comes from, but also donations are aligned separate. But I do have, a couple grand for training that our training's supposed to come out of.
But I think that may be where the difference is. We aren't guessing on receiving donations. We already have $9,000 in there. We're anticipating to spend 7,100 of the 9,000 that's already sitting in that balance. Is that right?
That's exact, I guess we could say.
I mean,
we
we're
hope
guessing
that's-
on virtually all funds that we're gonna be getting them to some degree.
Sure.
So,
I guess we could say we hope Speedway gives us, $5,000
Right.
again this year.
Don't want to put the cart before the horse, though.
all right.
Thanks, Dave, for your question. Okay, let's move into staff reports, and Kevin, I
Mayor, we
will,
still need a motion on the financial report.
it's, they do
Okay,
approval.
sorry.
Yeah, after, with the reconciliation, but thank you for reminding me. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you for administrator's report.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council, residents. First item there on my agenda there, as of February 1st, we are going back to regular hours, 8 to 5. Everybody will be back in full swing, full schedule. We're still going to be wearing the mask and social distance the best we can, but we thought that, we felt that we feel pretty good about everything, going on and how everybody's dealing with it. So February 1st will be our first day back to the office. Will be open 8 to 5 and back at it. So number 2, their NatureWorks grant. I did print off information for the NatureWorks grant again this year. The deadline for that is June 1st. So I would like to see if we could set up a Parks and Beautification committee meeting, Mr. Bear, Mr. Hanna, and Mrs. Fogel. So we can maybe start talking about some ideas and kind of get that rolling so we can.
When are those typically due?
June 1st, in June.
Thank you.
And we set some money aside already as well to hopefully go along with that grant. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Look in
I thought it was,
capital outlay on the general fund. And, boy, I'll tell you, these are foreign anymore. I believe we had $10,000.
$10,000, yeah.
Yeah, I know we kind of missed the deadline last year, and it my fault included. Just because, all the stuff went down, we
Right.
couldn't
Right.
get in and didn't want to rush into getting something put together and not knowing really what
Right.
we wanted to do with
Yeah.
it. So,
But I guess, get that first meeting in and do some brainstorming, things like that, and that way we can get some pricing on some different stuff and go from there, so. So if that could be set up sometime, that'd be appreciative. Number 3, Gov Deals, I did had our rep come in and help me get stuff listed on govdeals.com. She basically came in and did it, that's kind of her job, but, because I'd never really listed stuff. I bought stuff off there, but never listed it. So she came in and had it done in a matter of 15 minutes. And so the auction actually ends the 29th of this month. So we'll see what happens. There's some couple chainsaws, hedge trimmers, pole saw, all the water meter endpoints, things like that. I've had some people call in and question, about the different stuff. So there might be a few bids on there. I didn't check it today, but I'll check it tomorrow, see where we're at. So that'll end on the 29th then. In your packet, I did receive a call from a Melissa Baker from the Clark County Developmental Disabilities. There's a flyer in there showing you that the banners that they are making to hang up in Springfield, and she called and then emailed me about to see if Enon would be interested in putting up these banners at no cost, and I think it's a really good idea. I mean, they're going to design them. I got to give them the size of our hangers and stuff like that. No cost to us, and it's just for the month of March, and then we take them down, and probably next year, if they do the same thing, we'll put the same ones back up. So
I think it's a great idea.
I just wanted to see that's
Absolutely.
what they're going to look like, and
Cool.
so
So we would be responsible for just putting them up. We're not responsible for actually the cost and having them made.
correct.
I think think it's wonderful.
And then storing them after the fact.
I assume yes, and I don't know unless they're going to take them back, but she didn't say anything about that, but.
Do you know
So,
what colors are in there?
nope, she did not say
Just- you
any
just got the
colors.
black and white, okay.
Yeah,
Just curious.
I'm sure they are, but
Yeah, I'm sure they're not black and white.
So, and also in your packet, I got a letter from the Clark County Engineers Office talking about the Enon Xenia Road Improvement Project. This letter went out to all the interested parties. I'm assuming along the project way. So I just wanted to include that. If you had any comments, you can fill out that form, send it back by March 5th, and, then they'll address the questions that they get, so. And I did email Paul about a kind of an update on where we're at, because I haven't talked to him in a while, so just trying to see if we could, I know they cut part of that project back, the asphalt project back, from Main Street intersection. I was just kind of picking their ear a little bit, see if we could work something out, to kind of get all that done at the same time. So, because I think that the project, what was it, like 4 point
$4.5
something
million
million?
or something like that.
I bring it up at every TCC meeting, and it's still budget.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
I asked Kevin to get this conversation started because I'm still a little disappointed. I don't mind telling you that we can't seem to maybe express our desire again to have all of that done at the same time. This project is very specific. It doesn't include what we had anticipated originally. And if we can reach out to them and say, hey, look, we want to be partners with you in whatever it would take, if it took a separate Ohio Public Works Commission grant, whatever the case is, but we need to get those conversations rolling again because, and I'll say it again, it just doesn't make sense to do a selected part of that roadway. It's in bad shape from the intersection on down.
Sure.
And we just need to figure out a way, even if we have to chip in some bucks. We've been talking about this for 2 years. We're trying to save our funds in the street department if we do have to contribute, but I say we need to really keep pushing for that, Kevin.
Okay.
And I think the council probably feels the same way.
and I can help support that, Kevin, on the TCC, but maybe something that might help along the way is if we had some, when Tim talks about, having a good reason to cut that off, what is our reason to have them pave that? What is wrong with the road now that putting this back on the schedule from Green Vista to Maine is a smart idea for the county?
Sure.
Why is it necessary? We know from Green Vista on because of the school. But from Green Vista to Maine, why is that so important?
yeah.
And maybe
Okay.
just 3, 4, 5 bullets. I don't need a dissertation,
Yeah.
but 3 or 4 or 5 bullets is why the critical need to add that back in, and I can bring that back up with the TCC.
Okay. I can do that. Yeah. Good.
Pictures would be good in that as well.
Pictures, yeah. no,
Self-explanatory.
Take a drive.
audio and,
Yeah, don't look. Sorry.
there was, oh, shoot, what was I gonna, I did get, I think we got maybe 5 or 6 applicants for the part-time position, due to Seth being off for his foot surgery, and it looks like he'll probably be off most of summer because he's still not walking on it yet, and he has to go to therapy, and then he's planning on, from what I heard, getting the other foot done here in June. So it looks like will probably be off all summer. So I'm going to get with Doug and Jason and to see if they know any of these applicants, and we'll go through those applications. And
So how many part-timers do we have right now? That gets,
just one, Preston.
okay.
So.
Okay. Well, you're gonna need 2 more for the summer.
So, for mowing. So, yep. So I'll go through those applications with the guys and hopefully get another good one. So that's all I have for now, Mayor.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the Cardinal Water Tower, has anybody decided what the outside's going to look like when it's finished?
Haven't talked about that yet. I think we need to. I mean, come spring, it's gonna be kind of down to the deadline.
Only a
we're
couple
gonna-
months away.
Yeah, we're gonna have to decide. So I think we need to maybe
I think we need to see Enon on there, at least on
So-
one side.
come up with, council, if you hear anybody out in the public to get some ideas, I guess. So, because we'll have to get prices on it and stuff, so.
Maybe do a contest with art work or something? The only thing is that would cost money, so, that might be a deterrent.
Bunch of Cardinals and Blue Jays and
Yeah, yeah, a bunch of
Birds.
birds.
Birds related.
Birds everywhere.
Birdland.
metal arts. No, that should be talked about sometime, because that'll come up quicker than we think.
They probably have lettering already in the contract. Most companies do that, but
Yeah.
if we wanted to get a little bit fancy,
Flags or something, whatever, so.
I just thought I'd bring it up.
I have a question too. I got asked by a resident, I'm not sure if he talked to you or not, but he lives on Sunnybrook. He cleared out a beaver dam. Who would be, not in charge, but whose responsibility is it to clear the waterways? If it's obstructing the water's coming into backyards. I'm not sure if all of the residents on Sunnybrook own past
Pass
the
it, so
creek.
yeah.
I know some of them do.
Some of them do, yeah.
But I don't really know if that matters if they own on the other side, because they can't do anything with the waterway, steer it a different way, or they can't make
change
adjustments to it.
Yeah,
So
can't change the flow of it. But I don't know, is that
The Corps of Engineers,
probably, that'd be the first place to talk to or whatever, so.
Okay.
I mean,
because with the protection and the floodplain and everything else that goes along with that, I think
Right.
that's all their bailiwick.
yeah, I guess he said he talked to someone in here, and then he talked to someone at the county as well.
okay.
He ended up doing it, but I don't really know if that's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I think that's been past practice. It's like if you own all the way across as the property owner and whatever your part has an obstruction, it's your responsibility to remove that obstruction. That's past practice. I'm not saying that's the way that the
Yeah.
Corps of Engineers would say
Right.
this day and age, but that's been past practice.
Well, some of the problems too are back there beyond the corner of the Cardinal. Where you've got the creek where it curves back there. There's a couple of trees that go across there that I think have been a dam for a considerable period of time. Now, a few years ago, didn't we contract that out to have somebody clear that out, Tim, years ago?
I think there was an issue, and I think it was when I was gone before I took over as mayor, I believe. and I
Yeah,
think
because
we did
I'm
that
trying to remember.
years ago.
I remember that we had the same problem with it, and that I thought it was the Corps that had to undertake it, because in some aspects, I want to say dynamited something, or they were talking about doing that, but that's been a ways back. But yeah, back there off of the Cardinal Drive cul-de-sac, you can actually look and see some of the problems back there, and I don't know if that would really come down on any particular property owner, because it starts getting back there in that murky area that goes beyond the
Is
the
that-
tree line.
Is that Mud Run or what's that?
Mud
what's that
Run
called?
Creek.
Yeah.
but,
Mud Run.
Yeah. If you look at the either Google Earth or the auditor's website, you can see how the creek will snake around back there, and then it just, maybe 150 yards east of the Cardinal cul-de-sac was where a lot of times in that curve, you'll get trees that'll block it up back there.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Any other questions for our administrator? Hey, thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Good job. Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
Evening, Mayor, Council, residents. Cover staffing update quickly. I have a part-time officer, James McHenry. He's completed his 6-month probation there, January 14th. Got a successful evaluation. So with council's approval, I'd like to move him up into the permanent part-time because he's completed his probation.
We would need a motion and a second to do so.
so moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Babcock?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. I did an interview earlier this week for trying to fill some part-time spots, and did one a couple of weeks ago. That gentleman that we made the conditional offers to. He has turned back in his stuff, so take a couple of weeks, but slowly progressing on that takes time. So hopefully get some more. Looking into filling the full-time spot. Talk about that next council meeting. That'll be coming up. But I did have some interested officers, and then so review that, and I'll just bring that up next meeting, so we're prepared for that. Today, I just asked it to keep thoughts and prayers. Toledo Police Department had a funeral for Officer Brandon Stalker. He was shot and killed in the line of duty on January 18th. Today was his funeral. He was 24 years old, and he started in January 2008, or he started in 2018, and then he's also the classmate to Officer Anthony Dia that was killed in the line of duty on July 4th, 2020. So it's not a good way to start the year. So I just asked everybody keeps their family and that agency thoughts and prayers. And with that, I don't have anything unless you have any questions.
Short and sweet.
Yes,
Questions
sir.
for our chief? Thanks, Mike. Mrs. Sweet, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. January 19th, the Public Service Committee meeting was held, and the minutes have been passed out. So if the committee has looked over the minutes, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes or approve the minutes. The next meeting, as they're looking it over, the next meeting is to be scheduled Tuesday, February 2nd, here at the Government Center at 7 p.m. And I believe a flyer's already gone out for that. It's on the internet. So, gentlemen,
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That concludes my report, sir,
Thank you very much.
unless anybody has a question.
Under old business, just an update, we have advertised for volunteers to serve on the Board of Zoning Appeals, and we have received 2 applicants, Mr. Grant Heminger and a Mr. Robert Storm. There is some additional interest. We're waiting for at least one other applicant. My recommendation at this point to council would be, since we have nothing that's actually scheduled, meeting-wise, to wait till our next meeting in February, and hopefully we will have 3 applicants to choose from, and those would be presented to council for their approval and appointment. Okay? Thank you very much. We have no other business on the agenda.
I got it.
Kevin, do we have?
I got a couple, 2 more things that I forgot. The signs over here, if you didn't notice them, they were made by the art department. And the blue one, we're gonna replace the one out front, and we have another blue one to put down on the police side as well. That other one was supposed to be blue, but they made it that color, so, but we'll get those up soon as we can, but I think the art department did a real good job.
Yeah.
Real good job.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
And just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about the Records Commission meeting before next council meeting at 6:30.
Thanks for reminding me.
We'll get a email out to everybody as a reminder as well. But
Kevin, do we have
Looking
any,
forward to that.
do we have any callers? Did anybody call in?
let me see here.
We'll give them the opportunity to.
Is anybody on the phone?
Good evening, everyone. I don't really have anything to add to your meeting.
Hey, Elmer.
Hello, Elmer.
Hi, Elmer.
Well, with that,
I move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Not
Meeting adjourned.
Time